Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, July 8th. Welcome to another episode of Together San Diego. I'm your host, Luis Cruz, Community Relations Director for the San Diego Union-Tribune. And joining me this afternoon is Marcella Johnson, founder of the Encinitas-based nonprofit, the Comfort Cub. Marcella, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, Luis, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I can't wait to learn more about your organization. Sounds like a great thing that you're doing. So tell us a little bit about your organization and how it all got started.
Great. Okay, so the Comfort Cub started after I lost my little boy 21 years ago in April 11th, as a matter of fact. And along with the obvious emotional pain you'd have of losing a child, I experienced some very strange physical symptoms. My heart was literally in pain and I felt like I had an open wound. And the only thing that made it feel better was to put pressure upon it as though it was bleeding, right? And then the second thing was that my arms were aching. No amount of rubbing, creams, nothing was helping it. And I went to my doctor, especially because of my heart, because anytime you have a problem with your heart, that's something you've got to take care of. And it's very serious to pay attention to. And when I went, God bless him, I had excellent health care, by the way. But 21 years ago, they didn't understand what was happening to me. I was experiencing something that's now known as Takotsubo syndrome or stress-induced cardiomyopathy, or in layman's terms, it's called broken heart syndrome. So that was the first thing. The second thing does not have a clinical diagnosis yet, but it's something that us moms in the lost community all know about. And that's the aching of your arms. And it's actually, we call it empty arm syndrome. And it's when your arms are literally aching to hold your child. And this can happen at any age. It doesn't have to be an infant. It just happened to be that my son died the day he was born. And leaving the hospital empty-handed was one of the most horrible things I ever had to do in my life. And I just felt like, you know, we need to let these women get to them right away when something like this happens, so that they don't have to leave the hospital empty-handed like I did. And I want to tell you more about how I came to find the Comfort Cub, but I feel like I'm talking a lot, so you go ahead.
No, this is great. So then you discovered that lifting something of weight, that you found some relief and comfort in that. So that's sort of, tell us a little bit about that, and then how you began the Comfort Cub.
Okay, great. Thank you, Luis. Okay, so I was telling you about that pain that I was having, and it came on immediately after I lost my son. And it stayed with me actually for quite a while. But this was a week after his funeral, and I was in a very depressed state, as you can understand, from losing my baby. And I just felt like I just wanted to go and be near him. And but I didn't want to be alone because I was just feeling so sad. So I called my dad and I asked him if he would please meet me at my son's gravesite. Now, my dad got there before me, and he has passed away now, but he was an artist and he loved beautiful things. And someone had sent me this beautiful terracotta pot full of flowers at the gravesite. And when I got there, all I wanted to do was just to be quiet and reflect. And my dad was like, "Oh, these flowers are so beautiful. You need to take them home." And I thought, oh my gosh, I really just could care less about flowers or anything right now, Dad. But I realized he was not going to let me stop talking. And he wasn't going to stop talking until I took that pot out of his arms. So I said, "Okay, Dad, thanks. Give it to me." Right. So when I got that weight in my arms, the aching in my heart and in my arms went away immediately. And it was kind of shocking to me. Now, I didn't say anything to my dad or anyone because I thought it was so strange that here I was holding this cold, hard terracotta pot, and it was actually bringing me comfort. And so I ended up bringing it home and not wanting to put it down. And my sister remembers me calling her and just saying, "Martina, I'm going, and not only have I lost my baby, but I've lost my mind. I'm carrying around this pot that's giving me comfort." And I then read in books about mothers who lose a child, that can be a common thing, that women who lose a baby seek weighted objects. And that's when I got the idea. I thought, you know what, we need to do something for these women that that we can get to them right at the hospital before they leave, and it will give them comfort into their arms. And that's when I came up with the idea to do a weighted teddy bear, and to bring them comfort. And so that's how it started.
Oh, that's great. We have a video of two moms who talk about how your organization was able to help them during their grieving process. Let's listen to them and hear what they had to say.
Thank you.
We got the call that every parent fears, is that your child has been taken. My 18-year-old daughter, Amanda, we lost almost 6 years ago. They were on their way home when there was a horrific multi-car accident. The sadness and the extreme grief was overwhelming. And then Marcella walks in and puts this sweet Comfort Cub into my arms. And for the first time, I felt that I might be able to survive this. It's hard to describe, but when you put this cub in your arms and the weight of this cub, for me, just brought peace. I felt like I could catch my breath and breathe again.
I was in the hospital recovering after my son Malachi was born, and I was brought into the room with my husband, and a team of doctors and nurses delivered the news that Malachi had passed away. A nurse came in and she reached over and grabbed the bear and handed it to me and said, "This is a gift from a fellow mom, and it's for you if you would like to accept it," and there's a little card with it. I opened the card, and it was such a heartfelt card written from a friend, another mother who had clearly gone through what I had gone through, and just such words of comfort and hope and love from a stranger. I cried, and I just felt overjoyed with just a sense of love from, again, someone who I never met and that wanted to do something for a mother who needed a little extra love that day.
Reading your story, Marcella, and listening to these two moms speak, it's heartbreaking, but I'm glad and it's great to see that you've been able to turn this pain and this loss into helping other people. You were planning to mark the 20th anniversary of the Comfort Cub by handing out 1,000 therapeutic weighted teddy bears to families suffering from traumatic loss. Now some of those are headed to frontline medical workers dealing with the coronavirus pandemic, correct?
That's exactly right. Yep. And it was kind of surprising. The timing was really interesting because we had planned this for my son's 21st birthday. My family and friends and donors, we've all been saving up for this for a while to be able to gift 1,000 cubs. And we just wanted to send it to anyone who's experiencing loss and trauma. It doesn't have to be a mom. That's how we started. We started off with moms, but we soon found that the therapeutic benefits and the medical benefits of holding a Comfort Cub has so many great qualities for anybody who's experiencing trauma. Now, we're in top hospitals across America, and we usually are there for mothers who lose a child or people who are experiencing any kind of loss or anxiety, stress. And then we had planned this event, and then COVID-19 broke out. And talk about people being anxious and stressed and heartbroken. And little did we know in the past, sending them to the hospitals for the patients, we found out that some people who were in the greatest amount of stress were the frontline workers dealing with all this death. And not only that, but being separated from their own families. And people just, being fearful that they would bring it back home to their husbands and wives or children. And so it was separation on both sides. It was a separation from the frontline workers to their families, and the families not being able to see their loved ones. And also, we did work with the hospitals with patients, and not so much even the patients themselves, although they were given to the patients, but the family members that so worried and anxious about their children that they couldn't see or hold. And so the Comfort Cub was there to bring them a little bit of comfort too. But that was pretty amazing to me to realize how much it meant to those frontline workers.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I mean, what kinds of stories are you hearing from the doctors and the nurses on the front lines?
Okay, well, one of the stories, there's lots of them, but one that really stands out for me is we're very connected at UCLA. We're at every hospital in San Diego, by the way, and that's how we started, and we love all these hospitals. But we also are, across the United States, but UCLA is a big partner of ours. And as you know, COVID hit Los Angeles a lot harder than it hit San Diego. And especially with UCLA's Mattel Children's Hospital, that's where there was a lot of distress with parents who, and all of the nurses and doctors that are dealing with these families that if they left the hospital during COVID-19, the rule was they couldn't come back in. So here's these parents that have a sick child in the hospital, but they have children at home too that need them. And it was just this, and so hard for the patients. But also, I think people don't realize that there's secondhand trauma to, it just goes to show how much these frontline workers, the doctors and the nurses and such, love and care for their patients. But one person in particular that I'm thinking about is the chaplain at UCLA. And they have to deal with every family. And especially they have to deal with the families that lose a loved one. And it became overwhelming to them. And the person that I work with at UCLA told me that the chaplain had come up and said, listen, can I borrow a Comfort Cub? I am feeling so depleted and so depressed by all of this that's going on. I think I need a little comfort too. And so, of course, she said, you don't need to borrow one. We're going to give you one. And she said she brought it home and she was able to get a good night's sleep. And it really did comfort her. And she was able to have the energy and boost that she needed to get back in and fight the good fight against all of this, terrible disease that's been going on. So that's just one little story of how it, was able to help one person who helped so many others.
And you said you've also been able to help out children and young people.
Oh, right. Okay. So yes, we've been doing that for a while as we started out, for mothers who lose a child, but there's a lot of kids that are experiencing trauma, especially now with COVID-19 and not being able to be in school. And one group that I'd like to talk about is this wonderful organization called Mi Escuelita, which is a school down in Chula Vista for children who have been affected by domestic violence. So as you can understand, that's an extreme form of trauma. And so they have all gotten the Comfort Cubs. And what we realized, though, was that the Comfort Cub was not just only for, bringing them immediate comfort, but we found out just in the process of handing them out to them, that became a great opportunity to speak about why this helps and what are they feeling. So we actually created a book. Can I show that to you real quick?
Sure.
My Feelings book. And it's about the Comfort Cub, and it just walks the children through 6 different emotions. And it starts with, it's happy, sad, worry, calm, anger, and then ends with love. And it actually talks to them about what's physically going on in their body. Let's talk about just worry. How their mind races, they get sweaty hands, their heart beats fast. And then it walks them through and asks them questions about how do you feel when these certain situations, so they're little questions about what you might feel worried about. And it gives these children an opportunity to talk about how they're feeling. Now this is for 3 to 5-year-olds, but we plan to do something for every level all the way up to an adult, because you can't really, solve a problem about the intensity of feelings if you don't even understand how to name it. So it's really feelings identification. And so this is a tool along with the Cub that can really help these kids who are not understanding all of this that's going on.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with Mi Escuelita. I had a chance to actually work on a project a couple of years ago about Mi Escuelita. It's a great program.
Yeah.
Marcella, how many teddy bears would you say you've been able to give out in the last 20 years?
Well, gosh, I don't have I think we're getting close to 25,000 teddy bears.
Wow.
And how exciting. I mean, and what I wanted to tell you too is even though that's 25,000 bears, we figure just on a conservative basis that 3 people will hold and touch and benefit from the Comfort Cub. So we'd like to say that it's close to around 75,000 people who have been able to benefit from the Comfort Cub, which is just really astounding to us. And we're so grateful that we've been able to do that.
And how much do these bears cost to make?
Well, they're not cheap. Now, you got to kind of remember that this is a therapeutic tool, and it is it costs us around $30 to produce. But then we also have to put in a little bit of a margin for what's that called, the profit, so that we can keep things going. And so we sell them to hospitals for just about the price of the Cub. I think we make $5 or $10 on each of the bears. We wish we were in a situation where we could just give them away. We used to just do that 10 years ago, but the demand has gotten so great, and the volume, like people wanting cases and such. So it's $39.99 for I think a hospital or a group, but it's $49 for an individual. If someone wanted to send, if someone has a loved one that passes away and they don't want to send flowers that will fade or something, they can send a therapeutic teddy bear Comfort Cub that actually can help people to heal. So yeah, that's what it is.
And people can get more information on the comfortcub.org.
Yep.
Now, we were talking about how, you're a nonprofit. So how can people help you so you can continue to help others?
Thank you so much for asking that question. But I want to, the question of cost always throws me off, because what I'm trying to get the word out about is that these Comfort Cubs are always, not just the 20th anniversary, 21st birthday of George, they're always, always free for anyone who's ever lost a child themselves or someone who's experiencing deep trauma. So we only ask people to pay for it if they're giving it to someone else. So that's very, very important to me that you know that. And that's always been the case with the Comfort Cub from right from the start. So on our website, if you go to our website, at the top of the website, it does say, if you have lost a child or experienced trauma yourself, just contact us here. And then what we do is, as the money comes in, as donations come in, we're able to send out Cubs. And so the more donations that we get, the more money that we get, the more people we can help. Wow. So it's just www.thecomfortcub.org.
All right. Thank you for clarifying that, by the way. And that's also where they can get more information, obviously, on how to buy them or how to receive them for free as well. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add, Marcella?
Oh my goodness. I just thought I'd like to show you this one, and that you showed a little, the clips from the 2 women who have both become very dear friends of mine. But I wanted to just point out that the Comfort Cub, a lot of people think that it's only for when the loss of a baby or something like that, but it's not. This is beautiful Amanda Post, who passed away 10 years ago now, but she was 18 years old. And I've had women receive the Comfort Cub. We're up at Oakland's Children's Hospital and work with Stanford and UCSF and all across the country. And we actually had someone tell us that they had a 95-year-old mother who was sitting by the bedside of her 75-year-old son, and she got the Comfort Cub. So it doesn't matter how old your child is, it's always your baby. And holding it gives a lot of comfort. The other thing I wanted to tell you, something that we're very proud of, is the fact that the number one piece of feedback that we hear about the Comfort Cub is that it allows people to go back to sleep at night. We heard that most when we've been giving out the Comfort Cubs whenever there's mass shootings. And we've just heard that over and over from men who were involved with the Las Vegas shooting, and how comforting it can be. So it's not just for women also. I want to just make that point too.
No, it's for everybody. I mean, I can tell you that I'm a big fan of stuffed animals and teddy bears, so I really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you, Marcella Johnson, founder of the Comfort Cub, and thank you for giving back to our community during this time.
Oh my gosh, it's such a pleasure, and we love the Union-Tribune. You guys have been really great supporters of the Comfort Cub from the get-go, so thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Marcella, and thank you at home for watching. Have a great day, everybody.
News is more important today than ever before.
I'm currently outside Otay Mesa Detention Center.
I'm about to get a report at Sharp.
Out at Sunset Cliffs.
COVID testing site.
We live for these times when we're able to bring the news into the homes of people who need it the most.
I thank all of you for supporting our work.
When you subscribe to the paper, you're telling us that you believe in what we do.